right,
Brandon,
guys.
are you going to activate Joey for Sunday?
That's the plan. Yeah.
How has he looked in the 2 practices?
He's looked good. I think he was able to share with you guys a little bit what we've seen really in his progression, which is a guy that was getting better and better. And we didn't want to designate him to return if we didn't feel like he was capable of going out there and performing. So looked good in the practices. And, this is going to be part of his, return to play is getting out there and playing football. So excited to see him compete.
He said yesterday that this has been something that's been kind of nagging at him for the last couple of years. Did you have any idea that this was bothering him?
Well, if you observe Joey before practice, you'll know that he's a guy that needs to get tuned up, and I think what you're seeing is a guy that was just really pushing through a lot, and it wasn't anything that was inhibiting his play as he told you, but just, these guys go through a lot, and I think that Joey, it just shows you how tough of a player he really is. And I think what's been amazing for me to see is just how he feels now. There's just a piece there where I feel good, and so I'm excited to go see him go out there and play football like I know he knows how, and to have that freedom to know that he's healthy.
You think he'll be limited at all, on a snap count?
Yeah, he's got to get his football conditioning just like everybody else. So yeah, it's not like he's going to go out there and play, like he's been playing for 3 months, but he's going to go out there and play. If that was our plan, is if he's going to play, he's going to play. So.
And how's Derwin progressing?
Doing well.
Has he made it through the protocol?
He's working his way through.
With 2 weeks left, do you think by that first playoff game, would Joey be conditioning-wise where he should be, or will he still go?
Yeah, Joey's one of the top players in the league, so I imagine that he just needs to play a little bit to get his full wind. You got to get your full football wind, just like Keenan being out for however long he was out, 10 weeks or whatever. It took Keenan a couple games to just get his entire, hey, I can go the whole way, but, these guys are the best of the best, so I'm sure it won't take him long.
Is there I don't know what the word is exactly, a kind of a grasp of the game that you have to get back to when you've been out for?
Yeah, you got to get your timing back. You got to get your timing back in your rhythm, and you got to get your pads on. You guys have heard me talk about that. There's difference between working out there on a grass field, in shirts and shorts, and then having shoulder pads and helmets and you're hitting people, So he's got to get all that football stuff back. I'm wearing my pads, the contact, how I feel after contact, a game, all that soreness, that's part of, that acclimating to playing football.
Austin, is a knee injury, how is he doing? And are you going to limit him at all over these final 2 weeks heading into the playoffs with that?
He's progressing well, just typical running back stuff, but we expect him to play.
Earlier this week, Kyle Van Noy sent out a tweet, pretty strongly worded, giving you his total support and saying the media needs to show you more respect. One, did you see the tweet? And two, what does it mean to you, if anything, that one of your players is kind of putting himself out there to get behind you?
I didn't see the tweet. Kyle, what your players think of you matters the most. And so the fact that he did say that, that means a lot to me. But, I'm more excited about what we're able to do for him. Him coming here and us earning a playoff appearance and people discovering how special a player he really is. That was a big goal of mine for him, was for him to come here and be able to finish his career the right way and be able to help me create a culture. And that's exactly what he's done. He's performing at a high level. So, for me, it's just about, living up to your end of the bargain with these players, being everything that you want them to be. That's my goal as a coach. And we certainly wouldn't be in this position without Kyle.
Coach Staley, can you describe the way Drew has played this season? And do you feel like he should have been a Pro Bowler?
I think Drew Tranquill's playing the middle linebacker position as well as anybody that I'm watching, on tape right now in the NFL. I think in the last 3 weeks he's really taken full command of the huddle, really connecting people at a high level and then doing all the things that you need to do at linebacker in this league, which is see the game, key diagnose, line people up, running sideline to sideline, tackling well, covering backs, blitzing. I think he's shown himself to be a complete player. His best football is still ahead of him, but I think that he's shown that he's one of the top players playing that position this year for sure. And he's been a real big factor in our success this entire season, and then really this stretch we've had these last 3 games.
I feel like your defense is playing at a peak level right now.
No, we still got a lot more gears that we can get to as a defense. There's so many more things that are within this group, and that's what we got to attack these next this next game and these next opportunities that we get.
Brandon, you guys have been playing more. You can go ahead, Lindsay.
No, go ahead.
Okay. You guys have been playing more cover 2 over the last 3 weeks or so. How much of that is matchup based, and how much of it is sort of as you guys get later in the season, just turning different knobs up and down to sort of find like what you guys can execute at a high level?
I think it's both those things that you said. I think it's a lot of the coverage variety that we believe in. We want to make sure that there isn't that there's always chapters that you want to keep for an entire season, for a long season. And some of it's matchup driven, but we really believe in that variety, that it's the spice of life, and that you got to make it tough on people. And one of the ways you make it tough on people is flipping the script. And so that's what we've always tried to do. But I think we've played it well, and that's another motive. Anytime you're playing something well, you want to do it. But that's kind of what we believe in. You may not see that coverage for a couple weeks, but we know that we have it, and that's kind of one of the hallmarks of the way we play.
Week 17, is there kind of a renewed sense of energy for you, knowing you have Khalil and Joey to go again together?
I think Lindsay, that's fair to say. When I say I think there's different energy when you get the addition of certainly of a player of Joey's caliber, which is one of the top players in the league. I think it's for myself and everybody. That's Joey Bosa over there that's coming to play, and and that's exciting for us, is to be able to get players of his caliber back, and and he's got a lot of work in front of him, for him to play his best, but. It's been great to have him back at practice. And, the other thing for our guys that I think is really special is that they know how hard Joey worked to get back. I think that level of respect for the team, too, is just respecting, hey, man, this guy really had to put in a lot of work to come back this season for us. And, that's what's cool about it to me.
Is there a relief we won't be asking you every single day if Joey's returning?
I've got great stamina. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I appreciate the role that you have in asking that question, and I won't ever get chippy, for sure.
We haven't asked you about Jalen Ramsey yet this week. I know you coached him. What makes him such an elite player?
Rare size, speed, rare athlete, rare versatility. He could play any DB position on the field, and not only can he play it, but he can play it at a premium level. And you've heard me talk about Derwin in that way. It's one thing to be able to have the skill set to play all those places, but then to have the mental capacity, the football IQ. He's also one of the smartest players that I've ever played against and coached and then had to compete against now. And you just know that he's the fiercest competitor, that you could coach. And I certainly wouldn't be here without him. And, it's going to be a great matchup for us this week against him.
What was that Derwin Ramsey tandem like at Florida State?
That's why college recruiting, that's why it's about recruiting. You can recruit as many, you can get guys like that. NFL, there's a salary cap. Florida State, you can recruit a whole team full of guys like that. So, they didn't capitalize on those guys very well in recruiting. I made that joke to both of them, but there's I think there's that stat, those two guys have the rarest combine. They're two of 4 guys that are defensive backs that have had the type of combine that they had. So they're 2 unique players. They happen to be best friends, and I've been fortunate to get to coach both of them. And so they're both really, really special. And Jalen's having another great year, and like I said, it's gonna be really competitive on Sunday.